us with Finance World.
Thanks, Preeti and Nancy, for that. And in Finance World, let's begin with the top lines we're following at this hour. India's GDP grew below expectations at 7.1% in the first 3 months of 2016-17. However, the government is confident that the growth would be close to 8% this financial year on good monsoon, implementation of the 7th pay panel's recommendations and various structural reforms. Infrastructure sector grew at 3.2% in July, mainly because of improvement in performance of the energy sector, especially refinery output. Core sector, which contributes 38% of total industrial production, had expanded by 1.3% in July last year. Petrol price was on Wednesday hiked by 3.38 rupees per litre and diesel by 2 rupees 67 paise a litre. For reduction in the last 2 months had led to the price of petrol in Delhi coming down by 5 rupees 56 paise and for diesel 4 rupees 92 paise. The Justice AP Shah Committee that probed the dispute between ONGC and Reliance Industries has indicted the latter for unfair enrichment in a report submitted to the government on Wednesday. And in some details, the Indian economy grew at 7.1% in the first quarter of the current fiscal. The economic activities, which registered growth of over 7% in the April to June quarter over the year-ago period, were manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, trade and hotels. The government has targeted GDP growth to top 8% this financial year on the back of a normal monsoon season.
There are three positives which one has to recognize. One is on exports. Last year it was negative growth by about minus 5.7% or so, and this year it is plus 3.2%, so that is a positive development. Secondly, I think manufacturing side also, last year it was about 7%, 7.3%. This year it's about 9.1%. So there are some positive developments in the manufacturing side. And thirdly, in the services sector also, I think growth this year is also higher than last year Q1.
And Goa yesterday became the 15th state to ratify the Goods and Services Tax Constitution Amendment Bill, paving the way for the legislation to be notified by the President to the GST Council. And Goa Chief Minister termed the GST bill as historic, revolutionary and far-sighted.
GST is one step closer to reality. Goa has become the latest state to ratify the Goods and Services Tax Bill. 15 states have ratified the Constitutional Amendment Bill. With this, 50% of states have passed the bill and have paved the way for the presidential assent.
We are hoping that the implementation of GST will definitely happen from 1/4/2017. We have already chalked out a timetable, and as per the timetable we are quite ahead of the timetable now. For example, we had kept 30 days for ratification by states, but as it appears now, instead of 30 days we'll be able to do it within a period of 25 days. Now similarly, all other activities are being planned in advance and we are well on track.
The Constitutional 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 on GST has already been passed by the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. At least half of India's 29 states must approve the Constitutional Amendment Bill for the centre to move to the next step in the implementation of the GST. After the ratification by states, the bill will be sent for presidential assent. After the assent, a GST council with representatives from the centre and states will be formed within 60 days of the enactment of the bill. The council will be entrusted with recommending the tax rates, including the band of rates for goods and services. The government has set a deadline of April 2017 for GST rollout. Assam was the first state to ratify the 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill, while Bihar was the first non-NDA government to pass the GST. The passage of the GST is the single biggest reform measure introduced in recent times. GST will help country to move towards creation of a unified market and will boost GDP growth rates by up to 2%. With Ajay Mishra, Siddhant Sibal, DD News, New Delhi.
And now let's get an update on the stock markets. We're going to begin with the US pack first and continuing with what we saw yesterday. The markets remained in the negative territory. As you can see, the Dow Jones, S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq all down in yesterday's trade. Talking about the European bosses and the kind of activity we witnessed there, well, similar trend continued. The FTSE 100, CAC 40 as well as the DAX were all down once again in yesterday's trade. In the Asian bosses in opening trade today, we're seeing that the Nikkei is up while the rest of the indices are down, and the SGX Nifty also trading in the red in morning trade. But talking about the Sensex and the Nifty and the kind of closing they had yesterday was positive, and the markets, that's the Sensex and the Nifty, were both trading in the green, and that's how they ended. So we'll be keeping a track of all the market update for you through the day. For the rest of the news, for now, it's back to Preeti and Nancy.